Soldiers, I am pleased with you. On the day of Austerlitz, you lived up to all my expectations of your bravery and boldness. You have decked your eagles with a glory that shall never die. This is Austerlitz. Napoleon Bonaparte was a military genius who had transformed the French army into the formidable Grande Armée. His rapid victories in Italy and his strategic maneuvering across Europe had already established him as the most powerful man on the continent. Yet this dominance came at a cost. Deep-seated fears among the European powers. Tsar Alexander I of Russia, youthful and ambitious, sought to uphold the balance of power and prevent France from achieving hegemony. Emperor Francis II of Austria, who had previously been humbled by Napoleon's victories and forced into concessions, was eager to reclaim his position and restore Austria's prestige. Across the English Channel, Britain under Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger served as the driving force behind European coalitions against Napoleon. Though Britain dominated the seas thanks to its powerful navy and the recent victory at Trafalgar in October 1805, it relied on alliances with continental powers to challenge France on land. The Third Coalition came into existence in 1805, driven by mutual suspicion of Napoleon's intentions. Britain's financial support and diplomacy brought Austria and Russia into the fold, each seeking to curb Napoleon's aggressive expansion. The coalition's plan was ambitious: coordinate a joint military effort to strike at the heart of Napoleon's empire and dismantle his network of client states and alliances. However, the coalition partners were plagued by differing priorities and a lack of unified command. In response to the Third Coalition's formation, Napoleon launched the Ulm Campaign in late September 1805. His objective was to neutralize the Austrian army under General Karl Mack before Russian reinforcements could arrive. Napoleon's strategy involved a rapid advance through the Black Forest, utilizing multiple routes to outflank the Austrians. By moving his forces swiftly and covertly, he positioned the Grande Armée to the east and southeast of Ulm, effectively encircling Mack's troops. Facing inevitable defeat, Mack surrendered approximately 25,000 soldiers on October 20th, 1805. Throughout the campaign, the French captured or neutralized a total of around 60,000 Austrian soldiers. This decisive victory dismantled the coalition's initial plans, paving the way for Napoleon's unimpeded march toward Vienna and setting the stage for a larger confrontation. Vienna fell without significant resistance on November 13, 1805, securing vital supply lines and bolstering French morale. However, the campaign was far from over. The main Allied force, comprised of Russian troops under General Mikhail Kutusov and remnants of Austrian units, was regrouping for a decisive battle that would determine the fate of Europe. In early November, Kutuzov's army, having marched from Russia, crossed the Danube River to join forces with the Austrians. Despite efforts to avoid direct confrontation, the Allies were compelled to engage Napoleon's advancing forces. By late November, both armies converged near the town of Austerlitz in Moravia, present-day Czech Republic, setting the stage for a confrontation that would alter the course of European history. In the early hours of December 2, 1805, Napoleon meticulously positioned his 68,000-strong Grande Armée to maximize his strategic advantage. The main body of his force was deployed west of the Pratzen Heights across the Goldbach stream, forming a line that extended through key defensive points such as the villages of Telnitz and Sokolnitz. By positioning only light forces on the Pratzen Heights, Napoleon crafted an illusion of vulnerability. This move was designed to draw the Allies into seizing what appeared to be an advantageous position, luring them into committing their main strength to an attack on his right flank. Napoleon's real plan was to let the Allied forces become overextended, creating an opportunity for a powerful French counterattack that would target their weakened center. Marshal Davout's Third Corps, still in the process of completing an arduous forced march from Vienna, was tasked with reinforcing their right flank near the villages of Telnitz and Sokolnitz along the Goldbach stream. This timely arrival was critical. It gave the French the strength needed to hold their position and resist the advancing Allied forces. In the center, Napoleon positioned Marshal Soult's Fourth Corps, comprising divisions led by Generals Saint-Hilaire and Vandamme. These seasoned troops were poised to launch an aggressive counterattack once the Allies moved forward. The left flank, anchored by Lannes' Fifth Corps and supported by Murat's cavalry reserve, provided a strong defensive line capable of repelling any potential northern advance. The layout of Napoleon's forces was not just defensive but primed for rapid exploitation. a carefully crafted trap to split and encircle the advancing Allied troops once they committed to their offensive. The Allies, confident in their numerical superiority of 85,000 troops, commanded by Tsar Alexander I and Emperor Francis II, launched their attack at dawn. Under General Buxhoevden, the Allied left wing advanced towards the French right, aiming to overwhelm what they believed was a thinly stretched line. At this critical moment, Marshal Davout's 3rd Corps was still moving into position after an exhausting march from Vienna. The dense fog covering the battlefield provided cover for their movements, but it also concealed the true strength of Napoleon's forces. The battle began with the assault on Telnitz by Kienmeyer's vanguard, supported by Austrian and Russian infantry. The French defenders, although initially pushed back across the stream, fought tenaciously, buying time for reinforcements from Davout's 3rd Corps. In Sokolnitz, similar fierce fighting erupted as the Allies pressed their attack. Despite numerical disadvantage, French troops utilized the village fortifications to blunt the Allied advance and force repeated retreats. At approximately 8:30 am, as the sun of Austerlitz broke through the fog, Napoleon initiated his counterattack. Marshal Soult's 4th Corps surged up the Pratzen Heights, catching the Allied center off guard. The divisions led by Generals Vandamme and Saint-Hilaire drove into the weakened enemy lines, causing disarray among Russian and Austrian troops who struggled to regroup under the sudden French onslaught. Realizing the dire situation, Tsar Alexander ordered the Russian Imperial Guard forward in a desperate bid to reclaim the heights. Led by Grand Duke Constantine, the Imperial Guard charged with determination. However, the French, bolstered by reserves and a strategic advantage, met the charge with disciplined musket fire and countercharges from the French Imperial Guard and cavalry units. The brutal clash saw heavy casualties on both sides, but ultimately favored the French. With the Allied center shattered and their reserves committed to stemming the French advance, Napoleon seized the opportunity to reinforce his gains. He ordered Murat's cavalry to sweep across both flanks, exploiting the fractures in the Allied line. On the northern front, Lannes' 5th Corps held firm and launched counterattacks that repelled several Allied attempts to push forward, preventing them from reinforcing their collapsing center. This maneuver kept the Russian and Austrian forces fragmented and unable to coordinate an effective defense. Meanwhile, Soult's 4th Corps maintained pressure on the decimated Allied center, deepening the breach and forcing a general withdrawal. The disarray within the coalition ranks grew as communication and command disintegrated under the relentless French push. The retreat quickly devolved into a rout, with Murat's cavalry relentlessly pursuing and harrying the fleeing Allied troops, capturing prisoners and scattering units beyond recovery. From his vantage point, Napoleon observed the battlefield, declaring triumphantly, "One sharp blow and the war is over." His foresight, timing and coordination had culminated in a resounding victory. By 2 p.m, the battle was effectively over, with the Allies suffering 36,000 casualties, including those killed, wounded or captured, compared to 9,000 French losses. One of the most significant outcomes of Austerlitz was the Treaty of Pressburg, signed on December 26, 1805. This treaty forced Austria to make substantial territorial concessions, ceding land to both France and Napoleon's German allies. The Austrian Empire was also required to pay a large indemnity, weakening its influence in Central Europe. The Holy Roman Empire, long a symbol of Central European unity, was effectively dissolved, paving the way for the formation of the Confederation of the Rhine under French influence. The political landscape of Europe shifted dramatically. Napoleon's victory at Austerlitz solidified his reputation as a military genius and established France as the preeminent power on the continent. The defeat disheartened Tsar Alexander I of Russia, who withdrew his remaining forces, temporarily halting Russia's ambitions in Western Europe. Prussia, initially hesitant to join the coalition, now faced the reality of an even stronger French presence, which would influence its future decisions. For Napoleon, Austerlitz was more than just a tactical triumph. It was a demonstration of his strategic vision and the loyalty of his troops. The morale boost for the French army and the empire was immense, solidifying Napoleon's control and bolstering his ambitions. However, victory came with its own challenges. The overwhelming dominance of France spurred other European powers to reconsider their strategies, setting the stage for future coalitions against Napoleon. The battle may have cemented his legacy, but it also sowed the seeds for continued conflict as Europe grappled with his growing empire. Today, the Battle of Austerlitz is remembered not only for its brilliant military tactics, but for the profound shifts it triggered in European history. It serves as a testament to the far-reaching consequences of ambition, rivalry, and war. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what battles or events you'd like to see next. Until next time.